Okay guys, so we're going to start with the mushrooms that I'm starting with, and I didn't pick any type of mushroom particularly because I felt like they were easier to grow or harder to grow. I just picked one out that I thought was kind of something I would like to grow in the way that I would like to grow it. So, not knowing anything about mushrooms and never grown them before, I just picked one and went with it. And this is the golden enoki mushroom. Now I just ordered this syringe online. This is a liquid culture syringe, so it has the mycelium suspended in liquid. And from there, I took a cc of the liquid that I got that I ordered online here, and I made a liquid culture just from some videos I watched on YouTube on how to do it. Just some distilled water with some corn syrup mixed into the water, and I expanded that mycelium and grew it out in the water. So you guys, maybe you can see it in there. So from 1 cc of that liquid, I grew 4 of these jars that's full of this liquid here, and you can see how well that mycelium has grown inside of this liquid. And from there, I took it to my grain spawn. So I took the liquid from the jar and I inoculated it into this grain spawn. This is just some whole oats that I bought from local feed store, nothing special. Put them in here, put it in my wife's Instant Pot, and sterilized it in the Instant Pot, and then added it to this jar of just sterilized oats. So here's what it looks like, ready to be inoculated into a grow medium to actually grow mushrooms. So that's kind of the next step. And then from there, I did a mushroom bag with some sterilized hay, just some old hay that I had laying around, in one of these mushroom grow bags. And then I have my first mushrooms here. And these are the very first mushrooms I've ever grown. So I'm kind of working with this just as an R&D project right now, just kind of learning the steps and how to grow mushrooms. Eventually, this is going to be something I hope that I'm able to add to the farm and grow mushrooms kind of on a commercial scale. It's going to be, it's in my business plan as a new venture eventually. And I'm just doing the R&D on it. I'm just playing with it right now. But I wanted to show you guys kind of the behind the scenes of what some of the stuff that I'm working on, other than what I show on a daily basis. I'm always researching different options as far as things to grow and enterprises and ventures to add to the farm. And this mushroom venture is something that I think I would really like to do, just because I really love the process of it and how it works. And I'm really fascinated by mushrooms, and I'm learning more about them every day, and doing a lot of reading and watching YouTube videos, and then actually putting those things to work and actually grown some mushrooms. So a couple of different ways I'm doing it. One is in this mushroom bag, and then I have this jar here that I inoculated with the grain spawn. You can see it's already starting to grow inside of this jar here. Now this jar has the grain spawn in it, and it has sterilized smoker pellets. So the pellets, the hardwood pellets that you buy for smoking, meat or whatever in your your pelletized grill. We have a Traeger is what we use, and I just buy the pellets locally at wherever they're available, and I soaked them in water, and then I sterilized them in my wife's Instant Pot, and then I inoculated them with this grain spawn, and they're starting to grow. So I think I have 4 jars of these growing, and I only had 1 of the mushroom bags. So kind of the steps that the mushrooms have to go through, and there's different ways to do it. There's agar plates that you can use, where you're putting the grain spawn, you're growing it on a petri dish. I thought this was the best way to do it. The easiest way to do it is you buy one of these little syringes, and I haven't even used all of this. I think they sent me 10 cc's, and I've only used 4 cc's of this actual liquid, but I have made 4 jars of this liquid culture out of that 4 cc's. So you can really once you buy your initial liquid culture, you can just continually grow that liquid culture just from this, just perpetuate it forever, I guess, if you wanted to. So here's another jar of the liquid culture that I have, and you can see it's growing in there. So what I did was I took 1 cc of that, I put it in this jar, and I grew this jar out. Then I extracted it from this jar and put it into this jar, and I'm growing it out in this jar. So you can just keep stepping it up as you go, and keep continually making your liquid culture. And also you can take from your grain spawn, you can take this grain spawn and you can add it to another jar of grain spawn that you need to inoculate, and you can perpetuate it that way. Where I can take a brand new sterilized jar of the oats, the whole oats, and I can just take about half of this and add it to the new jar, and I can grow my mycelium that way. And then, you know, eventually you're going to take it to your substrate, your growing medium, and to actually grow out your mushrooms eventually. So that's where we're at with that. But these mushrooms don't last long once they get to this stage that you see them here. They need to be harvested pretty quickly, so they go downhill really fast, and they don't last very long. So that's why I wanted to make this video here real quick for you guys today, because I'm going to just go ahead and harvest these few mushrooms that I got. And I have some more mushrooms actually growing in here that are starting to pin. It might be hard to see on the camera. If I could get it a little bit closer and have it focus. So behind here, like if you look back there, there's some more mushrooms that's going to start growing out of this block as well. So not something that, you know, is on a level that a lot of people are that grow mushrooms for a living, obviously. But for my very first mushroom grow, I've made it from, you know, ordering the liquid culture online all the way to actually producing mushrooms. So I don't know how many videos I'm going to be doing on the mushrooms. It just kind of depends on how much I get into it over the course of the year, and how much time I have to dedicate to it. It don't take a lot of time. You know, once you kind of get the process going, it's not something that's really time consuming. But like I said, something I'm doing a lot of R&D on right now, and it's something that's in the future going to be in the works to actually build a mushroom facility and actually grow mushrooms on this farm. So I hope you found that interesting. If you're interested in mushrooms like I am, it's something that may be fun to watch as I progress in my mushroom knowledge and bring you a little bit more content on the mushrooms. So I appreciate you watching, and I'll be back.